Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. The Battlebots postseason rankings is so unbelievably awful. It's not even funny. Like, I had zero clue that they would be this bad going into the postseason. It is laughably terrible. It is just a monstrosity of nature, and I hate it. Like, I'm gonna start popping off on all this shit. Like, Endgame is fine. It's the returning champ. It's fucking 3-0. That's fine. I understand that. That's agreeable. But okay, going down, you have Ribot, which he kind of just got the 2 seed by default. I understand a lot of people feel that Ribot didn't deserve the 2 seed, but I mean, you probably should have just given bots that had 3 fights the top 4 seeds, which leads into my next issue, which is Whiplash. How is Whiplash? Okay, for one, Whiplash wasn't even the best 2-0. Like, it wasn't that impressive. Its wins, I wouldn't say they were weak wins, but it was on the ropes for both fights. Like, the Scorpios fight, if it didn't get Scorpios in the screws at the beginning of the fight, it would not have won that fight. And as for Bloodsport, Whiplash was on the ropes for that fight as well. So, yeah, I mean, and then going, and so, like, I don't feel like a bot who had 2 fights should even be in the top 4, but even if by some logical degree, a bot with 2 fights deserves a spot in the top 4. It should not be Whiplash. It should be something like Copperhead or Rotator. Copperhead or Rotator. Those are the main 2 that deserve it. Whiplash does not deserve it. That is so hilariously dumb. Now, for those of you asking why there are some bots who had just 2 fights, I think it was like time restriction things. I don't know this for sure, but I heard that in the beginning of one of the events there was a power shortage, which caused BattleBots to lose some time doing the season. So yeah, that kind of hurt some bots looking to go 3-0. So with that, we only got like 4 bots going 3-0, and we got like 8 bots or something going 2-0. Which is why Ribot getting the 2 seed is so frustrating, because like if you look at bots like Copperhead or Rotator or Tantrum or Jackpot, if they went 3-0, they'd probably get seeded higher than Ribot. Like, there's no... Like, Ribot just got the 2 seed by default, and then, on the other hand, Whiplash does not deserve the 3 seed. No shot. No shot. Here's what the top 4 should be if we are going solely based off of bots with 4 that deserve 3 fights, which, I mean, the way I ranked my top 8, of course, it doesn't have that, but if I had to say, I'd say 4 seed goes to Sawblaze, 3 seed goes to Glitch, and that's another thing I'm going to touch on too. The Glitch seeding was laughable. 2 seed Ribot, 1 seed Endgame. But if we're going off of the two fight merit, then I'd say that Copperhead or Rotator deserve a top 4 more than Whiplash does. Like, Copperhead, Rotator, and Sawblaze are all pretty interchangeable when it comes to seeding. It's not that tough. Like, Copperhead really took it to Lockjaw and Fusion, and Rotator, he destroyed Kraken and destroyed Black Dragon. I mean, Whiplash, what did Whiplash do? It had it won a extremely close decision to a bot that it should, in theory, have the design advantage against, and then it beat a bot who it was losing to until it flipped it, got a lucky lift in. And you can't even really say strength of schedule is all that in there. Like, I'd say Rotator might have had the tougher schedule. Like, you got Kraken, one of the better round of 32 exits, and you got Black Dragon, a bot that made semis last year. And who did Whiplash get? Whiplash got a Bloodsport who kind of just lost its edge by the end of the season, by the end of the 2020 season, I mean, and Scorpios who kind of just struggles against bots like what Whiplash is. So yeah, so the whole top four was kind of just wrong. Besides Endgame and Robot, it was just bad. I agree with Saw. Sawblaze is fine, kind of, but there's it's just up there. It's such a weird situation because of how the two and what they had to do for the 2-0s. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not blaming the builders, the selection committee, whatever, for like having to have 2-0 some bots just automatically go into the postseason, even though they don't have a third fight on the table. But if you're gonna do that, at least seed it, like put it in a seed that makes sense. Whiplash should not be the top four seed, and also uppercut the 5 seed. What? How? Bro, uppercut got to win against Gigabyte, and then he got to win against Free Shipping, who, by the way, uppercut was lost drive to Free Shipping by the end of the fight. So there is little to no reason uppercut should be a top 8 seed. That is ridiculous. That's insane. That's insanity. Like it's so dumb and so jarring. It's dumb. It's so dumb. Like they only gave uppercut the top ranked thing because uppercut had an explosion. That's literally all it did. And I get uppercut won a bot that's debatably the best bounty winner, but it still doesn't matter that he almost lost to a bot that, in theory, would not have beat uppercut in any way, shape, or form. And if uppercut loses drive to free shipping, even though free shipping did fuck all, that's an issue. Maybe I talked to Green about this, and Green does say that he does feel that uppercut deserves the 5 seed, which I don't agree with. But um, my main problem with this is that, much like Whiplash, uppercut's above two and O's that deserve a top 5 spot way more than uppercut does. Copperhead and Rotator both deserve a top 5 spot at least. Like there is no working around it. They it feels like they based their 2-0 seedings, but for like the top 4 2-0 seeds entirely off of their last performance. Like of their last season performance. Like how is Whiplash how is Uppercut higher than Rotator or Copperhead? It makes no fucking sense. And then we get into the blip glitch bullshit, which is awful. It's genuinely awful. Like, okay, so Blip got seeded higher than Glitch. Blip got the 7 seed, Glitch got the 9 seed, and I have to ask, how did Blip get a higher seed than Copperhead and Glitch? Like what? Blip Blip beat 3 Blip has a collective opponent record of 0-6. It beat Rusty, who has 0-7. It beat Rusty, who has only 2 losses. Overhaul, who only has 2 losses, and Lockjaw, who only has 3 losses. Everybody fought is winless. And Rusty and Overhaul are both probably like top 10 worst robots in the field. Like, I'm sorry, Charles and Dave, it's probably true. Uh, but as for Glitch, I mean, sure, its opponent record isn't good either. It's like, okay, so it fought Ghost Raptor, who's 0-2, Hydra, who's 1-2, and Kraken, oh shit, Kraken's 0-3. That sucks. Yeah, but okay, so it has a collective opponent record of 1-7. So Glitch has fought in a bot who has a win at least. So Glitch, in just by that retrospect alone, Glitch should be seated over Blip. Like, how is this not resonating in the selection committee? Is it because Aaron Hill's on Blip or something? Well, why? And then Copperhead, like I said, Copperhead and Rotator should both be a top 5 spot. But I digress. They're being ridiculous. But I think it's important to look at the 2-0 rankings, like how BattleBots actually ranked all the 2-0s. So here are the BattleBots 2-0 rankings. This is god awful. This is god awful. There's no other way to say it. Okay, so Whiplash is the 1 seed in terms of this. followed by Uppercut, followed by Rotator, followed by Copperhead, followed by Jackpot, followed by Tantrum, followed by Shatter, followed by Hypershock. Just how? What? How is Hypershock the lowest 2-0? Are you crazy? What does Shatter have that Hypershock doesn't have? What? Jackpot is like literally the only bot on this list that they actually did good. They did justice to, because like, yeah, Jackpot's wins were destructive, but it did have mobility problems. According to Malice, according to Bunny, Sorial, and Malice in the Malice Jackpot fight, Jackpot was having mobility problems, so they just did TV magic on that and edited it out. But everything that isn't Jackpot is awful. It's horrendously awful. Like, Whiplash should not be the 1 seed. There's zero reason for it to be the 1 seed. It has 2 wins against a bot against Scorpios and Bloodsport, which it almost lost to Scorpios and it almost lost to Bloodsport. So how Whiplash is the 1 seed is beyond me, but Whiplash is still impressive. So I do feel it's like a top 3 2-0 bot, but it's not like a top 2 3-0 bot. Like, the difference between like the quality of Whiplash's wins and the quality of Copperhead and Rotator's wins are astronomically different. Like, Copperhead and like, if I had to grade Copperhead and Rotator's performances, I'd probably give them like an A plus, like a A somewhere along that lines. Whiplash gets like a mid B. Like, it did good, but it's nowhere near what Copperhead and Rotator did. And so I don't think Whiplash should be in the top 2. Top 3, yes, not top 2. Uppercut shouldn't even be in the top 5. Why is Uppercut in the top 5? Like, okay, its win against Gigabyte. It also had some struggles against it. It took some bad shots to it. Almost got KO'd. Well, I wouldn't say almost got KO'd, but did take some kill shots. And then it almost got KO'd to free shipping. It would have gotten KO'd to free shipping if free shipping didn't get stuck on the like wall like it did. If Uppercut was just like not doing, if Uppercut was still the same, had the same mobility it had at the end of the fight, and free shipping wasn't stuck on the wall, Uppercut would have gotten counted out. So, and even if that's wrong, Uppercut still beat an 0-3 robot. I feel like all the 2-0s who fought 0-3 bots should automatically get like the lowest spots. So like any bot who fought like winless robots should get the lower spots. So like Shatter fought Sub-Zero, who's 0-3, and yeah, and its performance against Sub-Zero is okay, but its performance against Blacksmith left a bit more to be as desired. So Shatter should definitely be the lowest seed there, followed by Uppercut, who did good. Like, I definitely think that the difference between Shatter's quality and Uppercut's quality are also astronomically different. Shatter gets like a C, Uppercut gets a B. Followed by Hypershock, who both bots at 5 are winless, so. Followed by Jackpot, who had fought Deadlift, who's 0-2. And then you get into the top 4, who all the Copperhead, Rotator, Whiplash, and Tantrum have all fought bots that have a win under their belt. Tantrum fought Malice and Lucky. They both have wins under their belt. Whiplash fought Scorpios and Bloodsport. They both have wins under their belt. Copperhead fought... Okay, oh, wait. No, Copperhead fought Lockjaw. Shit. But there's a difference there. There's a big difference, because Lockjaw is actually a kind of good Owen. That fought tough. Like, Lockjaw's Lockjaw's probably the best, like, winless bot we'll ever get in the regular season. Like, let's be honest here. And also, Lockjaw kind of got a bitch of a schedule. Like, its collective opponent record was a total of 7-0, so Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'd say if I had to just throw who deserves to be the highest ranked 2-0 right now, I'd probably say Rotator over Copperhead if I had to pick. I feel like Rotator's had the tougher opponents and slightly better moments than Copperhead, but I think Copperhead has not struggled as much as Rotator did. Like in the beginning of the Kraken fight, Rotator had some trouble against Kraken. Copperhead hasn't really had trouble. I guess if you count like Lockjaw pushing around, but Copperhead was still doing damage to Lockjaw when that was happening, and so I mean, this is just a bad way to do the 2-0s. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Like, the fact that Hypershock is the lowest is annoying. The fact that Uppercut is the second highest ranked 2-0 is mind-boggling. The fact that Rotator the fact that Whiplash is considered the highest ranked 2-0 is baffling. It's just a baffling ranking. So yeah, all the other unbeaten robots are here. You have Glitch, Jackpot, Tantrum, Shatter, Hypershock. I already gave my piece of cake on these things, so I'll just go on to the 2-1s. Here are the high-end 2-1s. These are the 2-1s I feel like did good and like deserve spots in the top 32 no matter what. The low-end 2-1s, which we'll get to later, are like bots I feel like since they're 2-1, they would get in, but like in any other circumstance, they probably wouldn't. Like if there were like 20 other 2-1s out there, they probably shouldn't get in. Okay, so in the way the selection committee ranked these 2-1s are Cobalt, Mad Catter, Minotaur, Bloodsport, Black Dragon, Yeti, P1, Riptide. This is not good whatsoever. I mean, I get the bottom two is like the only thing that's good. Like P1 and Riptide both being 20 and 21 is definitely agreeable. But after that, it just gets terrible. Like, how is Minotaur the 16 seed? What did it do? It beat, like, one of the weakest rookie bots in the field. I'm sorry, Dragon Slayer, but Minotaur beat one of the weakest rookie bots, and then Deep Six, who, like, Deep Six isn't a bad bot by any means, but definitely has its struggles in competition. I do love Deep Six, though. Gotta love him. And how is Cobalt the highest ranked 2-1? That's my big beef, is that Cobalt is the highest ranked 2-1 of the field. It makes no sense. Like, how? How? Like, Cobalt's... Like, for one, the loss to Cobalt lost to a bot who didn't even make postseason. And then it's 2 wins. Cobalt beat a very weak Hydra and a very weak Gruff. So, how Cobalt is seeded over Mad Catter and Bloodsport is beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me. But yeah, this is a bad ranking overall. Like, I do think Mad Catter is the best 2-1 besides Sawblaze. It was really destructive in the Yeti fight, and I get Rampage isn't a good bot, but it was still a good win regardless. But I could see someone saying Bloodsport is the best ranked 2-1. That's besides Sawblaze. That's also very arguable. Bloodsport's had some good moments against Whiplash, Sub-Zero, and Claw Viper. So yeah, I could see Bloodsport also being up there. It's also pretty deserved. But Cobalt should be the 16 seed. It's pretty easy to say that Cobalt is not the second highest ranked 2-1 bot. That's funny. That Battlebots, the selection committee thought that. Like, it's so genuinely bad. I don't like it. I do not like it. And then Minotaur shouldn't have been the 16 seed. Like, why was it seeded over Black Dragon and Yeti? Like, Yeti and Black Dragon both had more impressive moments under the belt than Minotaur did. Like, this is not a good ranking. It is so bad. It is bafflingly bad. I think this is all there is to cover in this one. But yeah, Cobalt, very overseeded. Minotaur, very overseeded. This just isn't a good power ranking whatsoever. Here are the low-end 2-1s I was talking about. You got Gigabyte, Tombstone, Witch Doctor, Lucky, Valkyrie, 27, 28. You got Valkyrie, Captain Shredder, they're huge hijinks. Now, out of the gate, you can already see the favoritism that happened at Tombstone like it did last year. Because if you look at Tombstone's wins, there is zero reason it should be seeded higher than Witch Doctor and Witch Doctor, Lucky, and Captain Shredderator, a bot that it lost to. The Captain Shredderator shouldn't even be seated under Valkyrie. How did Valkyrie get seated higher? What has Valkyrie done? Valkyrie has beat two bots that are probably the top 10 worst bots in the field. And then it lost to, like, one of the weaker 2-in-1s. Gigabyte is the only one I like. Gigabyte, I will say it, Gigabyte is the only one I like. Lucky is pretty low too, though. Like, Lucky should not be seated lower than Witch Doctor and Tombstones. Its its wins against Blade and Mammoth were impressive, and its performance against Tantrum was great, man. Like, bro, a lot of people thought Lucky had Tantrum. Like, that was a scary moment for a lot of people who were, like, rooting for Tantrum. Um, there's Huge and Hijinks is fine too. I understand those two, and Witch Doctor should Witch Doctor. I don't know why I put slightly low. Technically, Witch Doctor is fine, but it should not be seated lower than Tombstone. That does not make any sense. Tombstone should be seated only over Valkyrie. Tombstone's wins are so very unimpressive in this season, it's not even funny. Tombstone had to, like, be in a push battle against a bot who only had one wheel. Like, it lost its weapon to free shipping for ultimately no reason. And then, in the Mammoth fight, Mammoth shouldn't have even been counted out. Like, Tombstone lost that fight. I don't even care. Tombstone lost that fight against Mammoth. And Captain Shredderator being the bottom three lowest ranked 2-in-1s is absolutely frustrating because Captain Shredderator beat Tombstone. So how Tombstone is 4 seeds above Captain Shredderator is boggling to the mind. It is so dumb. It is so bad. It's so bad it's not even funny. But yeah, now it's time to get to the bottom 5 Battlebots now. 31 through 34 isn't really seeded. Like, Scorpios and Malice are both technically the 32 seeds, but I kind of just decided I'd seed it like this to make it make a bit more sense. So, Ice Wave in the 30s. How does it not get? How does it get a guaranteed spot in the postseason over Defender? Like, I get both Defender and Ice Wave haven't had good moments, but Defenders at least had moments. Ice Wave against Deadlift, it did not do much, and against Fusion just died. Like, how Ice Wave got seeded higher than Defender, I'll never know. Like, Defender deserves the 30 seed. Ice Wave needed to be in the play-in match against Hydra, who does not deserve a play-in match whatsoever, and they only did based off of favoritism. Claw Viper was so robbed in that. I get that Claw Viper's only win was against a bad rookie bot, but Copperhead went toe to toe with Bloodsport. Like, if it did not have the performance it did against Bloodsport, I might have said that it doesn't deserve a play-in match, but after that Bloodsport performance, it definitely does. It does not deserve that bad of a... It does not deserve that low of a rank. It deserves a spot in the postseason. It deserves a chance, at least. And the only reason they gave Hydra that chance was because of favoritism. That's literally the only reason. So yeah, like, this is my opinion on the rankings for the postseason. It's bad. It's really bad. Whiplash, Uppercut, Ice Wave, Hydra, Tombstone. It's bad. It's really bad. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually not going to share my predictions just because I don't know what Green's plan is for postseason predictions podcast, but what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to make a podcast based on how I seeded the top 34. So, yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.